I know you may have clicked on this video because of the thumbnail. Let me tell you, this is not an advertisement. Hello everyone, in today's video we dive deep into a topic that has sparked a lot of discussion recently. The rise of MGTOW, or men going their own way. We will examine the roots of this movement, the motivation behind it, and the social factors that contributed to its growth. But what's amazing is the unwitting help of women in creating this story. We will analyze the complex dynamics between these two perspectives and discuss the impact of social change on men's choices and relationships in this world. So, whether you're familiar with MGTOW or hearing it for the first time, you're in the right place. Stay tuned for a meaningful discussion and hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Let's get started. You don't know if you know The Bachelor sometimes or not. He recently released a video called Secret Service that shows the great danger of going one's own way. To avoid backlash, he was careful not to use the acronym MGTOW, which often means reduced revenue or cut content. In his video, he reviewed the so-called anti-MGTOW debate that he claims is on the rise. In my research, I stumbled upon a YouTube channel by someone named Claire Harris. Keller is an outspoken critic of MGTOW, seemingly dedicated to branding the movement as a threat to society. Over the past 6 months, he has put together a series of anti-MGTOW and mainstream videos, trying to raise awareness of what he calls MGTOW terrorism. In his video titled MGTOW Terrorism is on the Rise, he collected derogatory information and aimed to warn the authorities and media organizations about what he calls evil. Claire, if that's her real name, is from Canada. In her videos, she shows a small maple leaf surrounded by an LGBT rainbow flag. She appears to represent a feminist perspective and counters what she says is a lot of backlash from the MGTOW community. He also shared a video from CBS News about the Secret Service warning about self-inflicted terrorism, which he said was deeply troubling. But with the lack of violence associated with the MGTOW movement since the 2018 yoga studio attack, one has to question whether this is a valid cause for alarm or just plain stupid. In my personal experience, the Secret Service's actions are more often than not. I'm reminded of what happened in Washington, D.C. about 10 years ago, when a DJ was attacked by Secret Service agents. It's strange to think that Obama wasn't in town that time. This has raised questions about the legitimacy of their actions and whether or not the show of power is too much to maintain justice. Now, while some say MGTOW is on the rise, it's easier said than done. The use of the term MGTOW has declined over the past 4 years, but the underlying ideas are spreading in ways that cannot be contained. Many men no longer understand this term, but they agree with the concepts it represents. Women had the opportunity to take advantage of it, but ultimately failed to do so. So these ideas were allowed to spread freely and unfettered. From a content production perspective, some prominent figures in the manosphere, such as Better Bachelor and Think Before You Go to Bed, have begun to discuss such topics without clearly identifying them as MGTOW. This development represents more than one label in the broader debates that focus on the rights and experiences of men, making it more difficult for feminist critics to find it. Attempts to crack down on MGTOW have been well known. For example, commentators like Thinking Ape are funding under different labels and exploring ideas that are close to the principles of MGTOW but avoid irony. Words like black pill are on the rise, and newsmakers are renaming their messages to avoid scrutiny. It is important to consider the scope of these changes. As big platforms like Facebook see a drop in users, I saw it drop from 21.2 billion visitors in December to 18.8 billion in January. The same trend can be seen in the YouTube marketing. The fate of these platforms may depend on their willingness to adapt, to monetize new types of content, or to address user needs. In redressing the concerns about aggressive men, the concept of behavioral threat assessment has emerged. The idea is to assess whether a person has strong beliefs, such as a skepticism about equality or a belief in gender rights. If someone honestly answers that they believe there is a pay gap, but can provide valid reasons, it may be flagged as a potential problem. These types of assessments raise troubling ethical questions and may affect those who challenge the established narratives. This brings me to a sensitive area for the future. If society is going to continue, should single men show their relationship in order to maintain the harmony of their society? It is also problematic to argue that single men should not carry guns because they are violent. Such information may be a broader strategy aimed at analyzing segments of the population that are perceived as problematic. Leftists on the left may think they have cornered the MGTOW movement, but in their actions their weaknesses are exposed. Their work to combat these ideas is more than promoting them. Turning MGTOW from a niche acronym into a diverse conversation that is hard to silence. This answer is no ordinary answer. It is a reflection of a deeper cultural shift that is challenging dominant discourses about masculinity, relationships, and independence. Finally, I would say that the current debate about MGTOW and related ideas is indicative of a broader cultural loss. It represents a desire for truth and a desire to regain control in a world that seems to be a little out of place. By engaging in these issues, we are not just engaging in dialogue. We make room for languages that have long been misunderstood or misrepresented. If you appreciate content that addresses these complex and often controversial issues, please click the like and subscribe button. Your support will not only facilitate these discussions, but also foster a community of critical thinkers who are not afraid to question the status quo. Thanks for your attention. Remember, a daily red pill will keep the leftists from trying to silence us. Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and encourage those who prefer to block the conversation rather than join it. Rest well and be healthy. Be curious and keep talking, because we can create a space where all perspectives are valued and explored.